Welcome back to the show, everyone. Craig and Jonah here. We were just dealing with some technical issues, but I think it's working, so I hope we don't have to do this for nothing.
It's working here.
All right, good. So we're on a this is outside of our normal time frame for recording, but I have a there's been a lot of stuff that's been happening. Um, uh, we're getting a lot of followers, and I recently got people angry at me over on Twitter. I've been tweeting a lot. So if you can't get enough of the Uncharted Catholic Man, go over to Twitter.
The X.
The X. It'll always be Twitter in my heart. And it helped that Thomas Pelega came on and he's been over there promoting the stuff, and the regular haters all show up surround him. I had I had a post the other day. See if I can find it. It was a poll. And I said, why did God kill Onan? One,
You're the only one pushing Onan polls out there.
there's a few Onan people out there, and they're on Twitter too. So that's
I love
a
it.
nice
All
little
right.
community of lovers. So why did God kill Onan? Number one, choice one, for spilling his seed. That's got 10% of the votes.
Okay.
Two, taking advantage of widow. That got 60% of the vote. That's my theory.
Okay.
Number three, God didn't kill him. No one. And number four, platforming Thomas Pelega. They got 30%. I got heat. We got heat out there for platforming Thomas Pelega,
Really?
which, it's funny how those things come full circle, because I got into a heated debate with this guy that was just angry as heck. And then he was like, well, clearly you believe in birth control too. I'm like, where have I ever said that? And I repeatedly said, I said, go check out the video. He's like, I watched it. I watched 5 minutes, and I'm like, well, watch the whole thing. It finally came full circle. I'm like, I don't believe any of that stuff. He's like, oh, my bad. I'm sorry. So we kind of like reconciled.
Yeah, the guy with 9 kids
Yeah.
is pushing birth control.
When,
And it's funny because like nothing that was said is really all that controversial, I don't think. And if you should always be able to discuss things at least.
I always thought that, it's funny, these people that quote Thomas Aquinas love to talk about. Have they ever like looked at the Summa Theologica? I don't have a copy. I don't have a copy here. The Summa Theologica is basically Thomas Aquinas like entertaining every possible. He picks out the 4 or 5 best objections to every point, cites some philosophers, some like all kinds of sources, entertains it, and then refutes it. Like the whole point of Catholicism is supposed to be that we're not afraid to engage other voices,
and we're seeking the truth, right?
Yes. So this whole, it just sounds very leftist wokeism. How dare you platform him? I'm like, do you guys even listen to yourselves?
Yeah.
They're all probably running around with MAGA bumper stickers on their car, but God forbid we have a conversation with Thomas Pelega
about birth control or masturbation or whatever.
He posted something on Twitter today, and I had not seen this before, but John Paul the First, who was Pope for
for like 30 days.
30 days or something like that.
He spoke out on Onan?
He because
was he struck down then too because of Onan?
So I said, and if I can, I'll include these, since I have Andy, if you could figure out how to add these tweets into this video, go ahead and do that. But blessed, I didn't know Pope John Paul I was blessed. He says, it would not seem to go against nature if manufactured in imitation of natural progesterone, one would use it to distance one birth from another. He said, for me, this is the biggest theological issue that has ever been dealt with in the church. And he's talking about Humani Vitae that had come out, which was very controversial because like 99% of the people on the panel thought that the church should adopt birth control.
So he's saying because progesterone is a natural hormone, that you could use that to space births.
Yep. So he basically, and I think I don't know if he said this directly or suggested it, but he would have been more or less in favor of taking a more liberalized approach to it, but felt bound by Humanae Vitae. But he
Oh,
sort of came out critical, and I
wow. And then he was struck down.
I said, "Did he get the Onan treatment because of this?"
I didn't even know that. That's funny.
Yeah,
I
that's
didn't.
exactly what I thought.
Boy, we're all
Yeah, I
all the
know.
time.
He said more like the JFK treatment. I
Oh man.
and I responded back. I said, "Did he say anything about masturbation?" Asking for some friends. So
Wow, that's wild.
blessed John Paul the First. I guess that maybe that's what we need to like dedicate
To
this to. Yeah.
because I mean, it's an interesting thought. At least I hadn't considered it like that. That since progesterone is a natural hormone, perhaps you could
Well,
face things like that. I don't
yeah,
know.
because I personally know people that have go on those in order to become pregnant. Like they like naturally
Oh,
they're imbalanced and can't conceive, so they will take those progesterone things to make themselves more fertile and become pregnant. So if you can do that, are you not
yeah.
allowed to do something to make yourself less pregnant?
It's a good point. It's valid. I don't know.
I don't know. Just wandering into heresy here.
It's a fair question,
I
at
think it's a
least.
fair question.
Yeah.
So I've been having a lot of fun over on Twitter. And a few of our listeners are over there. I think GD thinks he's been hanging out over there. We got a few other people, so it's been fun.
Hmm.
It's kind of a nice place to go out and just air the to vet some of the wild content before it actually makes it onto the thing here.
Hmm. Well, maybe I'll have to get on the X. I don't know.
Yeah, I encourage everyone now to go over and like it, because I had one guy, Trad, was giving me a hard time and crapping on us because I only have like 25 followers on it.
Sure.
He's like, "Oh wow," and I'm like, "Well, we have 200 episodes." "Oh yeah, you got 25 Twitter followers." I'm like, "Yeah, I've only been using this for about 2 weeks." Of course, I wanted to say, "Yeah, I got over 1,000 followers over my other one," but of course, I can't tell which one that is.
Yeah.
But those little smug guys.
Yeah. It's not a popularity contest.
Nope, nope. But I've been getting a lot of messages from guys. I can't think of any. We have a New Zealand contact that's feeding us all kinds of really interesting information about from everything from masturbation to other acts to just all the stuff all the weird stuff we talk about, but in a much greater detail. So I'm
Hmm.
having someone put it together for us, because it'll probably serve as sort of a resource manual for our episode 200.
Info from down under.
Yeah, trying to get him on the show, but there's been some logistical issues there. But so the other day, oh, I should probably tell the shipwreck story. Before I so we're poor old Uncharted. We're still getting acquainted with our new natural family planning method that's trying to figure out this old couple that can't decide if we're supposed to be making babies or having grandbabies.
But you've made it through how many cycles now?
Yeah, it's like 5 or 6.
Oh, that's got to be a record for
I
you.
think it is a record. Actually, we were talking the other day. We were trying to figure out, is this the longest we've gone in between kids, and it's not. But I think there's been periods where it took longer for her to get her cycles back. Like I think this is the longest consecutive cycles of like actively trying not to get pregnant that we've gotten this far.
Boy, you're getting to be like Cal Ripken Jr.
Yeah,
Getting the streak going.
kind of cocky here.
Yeah. Yeah, you know what happens.
But here's the price. Let me folks, I want you to know.
It comes at a cost. Everything comes at a cost. There's no free meals around here.
Yeah, so the last few cycles have been a no-fly list of 30 days or so, and the sort of the post-peak
Window.
window to play is lasted about 5 days. So you get one,
So you really got to go
maybe two passes. So the other day it was the last day. Like,
Did you know it was the last day?
Oh yeah, I reminded her. She had forgotten.
It's
Or
not high on her
just
priority list. That's funny.
so we're everything's lining up. Kids are in bed. The baby's sleeping.
The sun and the moon and the stars are
Just like,
cooperating.
don't anybody move real fast. And so once the kids are down, we go upstairs. The youngest comes up and then she lays her in bed. And then once that happens and no one moves and we're okay for
Yeah.
calm before the storm.
Yeah.
Well, of course, the baby wakes up.
Oh.
That's in the back of my mind. I'm
So
like,
that's and then it's tough because they'll probably stay up for a little while.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. She woke up at like 9:30, and then it was after midnight.
When you're up there, you're waiting.
I've learned that there's no point in staying up there waiting because either I don't sleep or something bad happens.
Yeah, you don't want to look too eager, probably.
Yeah.
You know? So you leave the room.
So I went downstairs and she was upset.
That you left the room, or just
she was upset because she figured I was upset because the baby was up.
Okay.
So we went downstairs. Well, actually, before we went downstairs, I said, just for the record, if it were me, I would have one of the older kids take the baby for an hour. I'm a problem solver.
Nice attempt.
I tried.
I'm gonna guess that didn't go over well.
How did you guess?
Sometimes you say things and you think, when it comes out, you think, man, that was stupid. I never should have said that. Did you have that thought?
No, I knew it was stupid when I said it. Because I've said it before.
And you didn't even hold back.
I didn't care.
Okay.
I was just like, just
felt you had to get that out there because you knew your chances were slim anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is.
Then you got 30 more days ahead of you.
I was paving the way for diminished culpability. 2352. I've exhausted all my options.
The end of your rope. All right.
So to go downstairs, eventually. So I went down. We watched TV, which is fine. She eventually fell asleep. And I wasn't upset so much as I went back once the baby was asleep. I kind of wrestled my wife and I said, "Why don't you go upstairs?" And she kind of like looked at me.
You wake her up?
Yeah.
Oh man.
She was sitting in the chair, sitting on the couch, holding the baby.
Okay, yeah.
And she didn't. So I went upstairs and I got maybe 2 hours of sleep that night. Tossed and turned.
Yeah.
Just wretched.
Tried to power through it.
Oh, it's just like, I don't know if people understand that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a tough situation.
So the next morning was awkward. This is the funny thing about marriage. I really wasn't upset. Like, I certainly wasn't upset at my wife.
So she thought that you were mad, and that made her mad.
Yeah, she was mad because she assumed I was mad, but I wasn't mad, but she was still mad.
That is complicated, and it can't just be resolved with the simple, I'm not mad. I understand completely.
But I tried to resolve it. I knew she was still annoyed because she just assumed I had to be annoyed. No matter what I said, like, there's no way of convincing her.
So she didn't believe you.
Of course not. So later in the day, I said, "Look, it's okay. I mean, it was hard, but it's okay. Like, this stuff happens.
Mm-hmm.
I just want you to know, whatever." And she's like, very short text. She's like, it's just one day. Maybe that's the title of this. It's just one day.
Yeah, except for like a day when you're kind of hoping for that. A day feels like a really long time. Like, I think in heaven, 1,000 years is like a day.
It's like doggy years.
And a day is like 1,000 years.
No, I tell you, if you got plans on day 3 after you've been intimate and you get bumped the next day, that's just one day.
That's just one day.
One day at the end of a 30-day abstinence period is like an eternity.
Yeah, you're
just one day.
Yeah, you're practically on life support at that point.
We've made a lot of progress, but there's just still parts of this that do not translate.
Don't line up very well. Yeah.
Just one day. So
yeah.
so the next evening.
All right, the saga continues.
Yeah. We're like, we know what we're gonna have to try. So next night,
really gonna have to give her a good shot.
get everybody lined up, kids down, go up, baby goes down, baby wakes up again.
Oh, it's the sequel.
I'm just like, why me, Lord? Like I felt like Job. I'm NFP Job. What?
NFP Job.
I'm NFP Job.
So then what happened?
Was
it a repeat?
We went back downstairs.
Okay, so it is repeating. It's just like Groundhog Day.
Yeah, it was. I don't remember her being as annoyed this time. I think maybe I cut her off at the pass, but we went downstairs. Baby finally went to sleep, and it had a better ending. So,
all right,
but it was close. It was. I thought shipwrecked again.
Oh man,
but this is the trials and tribulations of NFP people. Like
this is real right here. The struggle is real. All of it's real.
So,
oh,
anyway,
I'm happy for a happy ending.
Yeah, I am too. But because of the way things are going, it's probably the only chance we'll get before we start all over again. So
that's tough, man. A 30-day period of abstinence is well, it's difficult and nearly impossible.
I think so.
And the people that say that they don't think it's impossible, I would really like to know more about them. Like,
I ask every one of them, and most are not real forthcoming about how they get through that.
Yeah, I mean, because it certainly isn't easy. Like, nothing about that is easy, I don't think, for anybody, unless you have health issues, maybe, and you have diminished, drive and that sort of thing. I mean, I could see.
Yeah.
So maybe age out of it eventually, but
I don't know.
So none of them are forthcoming when you ask them how they're doing?
Well,
the guy from Australia, he said, he just kind of powers through it or whatever, which he's a little bit older than us too.
Yeah. I was debating whether to talk about that now or to do that on another segment, because I have a bunch of things I want to talk about that.
Oh, okay.
But stay tuned for the next episode, because I've been having a lot of discussions off the record with guys about sort of the topic of masturbation and how they overcome that and how you should overcome that. And I've gotten a lot of criticism for, I would say, how untrad-like I've been about the whole thing. I'm too lenient.
Even though, like, if you look at trad stats, it can't be all that different unless they're enforcing marital debt or something like that.
Yep. So, yeah, and I think this episode will come out after the one that's coming out this weekend, but that's about a red pill marital debt solution to this stuff. So I don't know. It's just not my cup of tea. I know it's not my wife's cup of tea.
Yeah, you
don't even have to ask her that.
Yeah, I think you have to be more sensitive than that.
Yep. So anyway, well,
the Shipwrecked Saga, happy ending there. I mean, I didn't know where it was going.
I was just like, I had already decided I was going to go down and start drinking out of the bottle.
And just so everybody knows, Craig isn't really a drinker except during that time.
Yeah, I'm a practical drinker. Sometimes it's a solution to problems, especially if you describe the idea that hell can follow from these things. And I'm like, oh.
Well, they say that drinking too much can be a sin as well.
I'm damned if we do, damned if I don't.
You didn't know you're safer with drinking because there's not a clear endpoint.
Yeah, I'll take my chances with Jack Daniels. Jack Daniels, pray for us.
Yeah.
So anyway, Yeah, I mean, whew, it's I mean, this is I'm thankful I'm thankful that we're going through this now and not a year ago. Like there's a lot that's happened in our relationship that has made this more bearable
Yeah.
for a variety of reasons. Um
Yeah, you got to have communication with long abstinence because you can lose hope. And actually, it's interesting how like my wife and I are going through a longer period than we have gone,
mhm,
and just your view of things change
mhm,
the longer you get from your
mhm,
last intimate act. And I don't know why that is,
mhm.
but it just changes mentally how you view your wife as far as I I don't want to sound too like negative or whatever, but you just view her differently. It's just different.
Well, and this is something I was gonna bring up in the next segment, but I'll do it here too. You know, there is something about
Like it's more of like you view her as I don't want to say roommate, but you start getting to that territory, like and it's not that you can't live together as roommates. People do it, but it's not like it's not an enjoyable part of marriage once you get to that stage. But
well, the common theme I hear in, let's see, folks in the theology of the body circles is that we're supposed to view our wives as a person, and we're supposed to desire intimacy with them, sort of with the focus on their person, not out of the physical gratification we
well, yeah,
get out of
but
that. But I say this, and they use that as a complaint against men who are very much just uptight and really desiring sex after a certain period of time. But I say, um, the day one bliss, like it just feels like all that kind of that real physical distractions of the body are kind of gone. And I never really look at my wife with the same sort of pure heart, I would say,
yeah, it's the day
as the
after.
day
Yeah,
after, because I'm not really thinking about making a move,
it's just like a pure friendship bliss
It,
at that point.
it reminds me of how I would have looked at my wife on her
Hmm.
on our wedding day in the what in the church when you're
Hmm.
really you're just enjoying the moment, the person.
I
The day
remember.
one, like I and that's one of the reasons I always look forward to intimacy, because if it's been a while, you're not feeling that way. You're viewing your wife more as a roommate or your frustration.
Hmm.
The day after is just you just you just have such a wonderful feeling for her.
And because like the communication gets better
Mhm,
after intimacy, and men are supposed to bond through activity with
mhm,
another person, and
mhm.
so that's where that I think that importance of the intimacy comes from.
Yeah.
So the people that say that I was thinking about this, we got a bunch of snow the other day, we're gonna get a bunch more snow, and um, this kind of fits with what people say when they say that you don't have to worry about intimacy with your husband because there's always nocturnal emissions, they'll be
Mhm.
just fine.
Yeah.
It's like, well, the driveway doesn't need to be plowed either. Like you can get a foot of snow.
It'll
Spring is going to come in
yeah,
like
it'll
four
eventually help.
months.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you can just wait. You can walk to the grocery store. You can,
Yeah.
it doesn't need to be plowed,
Right.
but it's going to be a lot more difficult.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what uh a lack of intimacy in your relationship is like, is just letting the driveway pile up with snow and you're just going to walk everywhere for the winter.
Well, there was so I got into some I think I was telling you, I kind of got into the green room, so to speak, on this podcast. But
Are you still there? Or
uh
they kicked you out?
they have not kicked me out. They even liked my comment,
Ooh.
but they haven't responded positively. But he did ask to see the our show.
Okay.
And but so here's the background. I don't want to name this podcast because I just don't want to draw attention to them. I actually like this podcast. I have spoken positively about this pod. I think it's the second best podcast out there. Second best Catholic podcast out there.
I don't have to ask who the first.
No, I have a conflict of interest, but it's a good podcast, but it's still I think it still suffers from the same things that I see in a lot of other podcasts. And it's a husband and wife talking together, which I don't know.
Uh,
I think
yeah.
I don't know. I would be holding back all
It's
the
like a
time.
hostage situation. It
Yeah.
totally is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they were reacting to a podcast by another Catholic podcast. So I'm reacting to someone's reaction to another Catholic podcast.
Boy.
And the original podcast was guys essentially talking about kind of why men have high sex drives and think about sex all the time. And
Mhm.
they were citing a study out of Ohio State that studied a bunch of college students and how often do you think about sex every day? And it was like the minimum was 19. And
College students at Ohio State.
yeah,
Who
well, okay, so
go Buckeyes.
one of the hosts was similarly unimpressed with it for that reason. He's like,
Sure, go with married couples. Like if you're
Yeah.
really gonna,
but
have something translatable.
yeah. So one of the stories that the original guys shared was, I don't know if this is a story that they were personally aware of or heard about, but married guy with kids is on the road traveling for 2 weeks
Okay.
to interview for jobs. So the family needs work. He's looking for work. So he's gone for 2 weeks. And sounds like a rookie mistake, but I understand what he's thinking. But the dude, if he listened to this show, could have probably avoided problems. Okay. But he literally comes home and immediately says, I've been thinking about having sex with you all, let's, as soon as the kids are in bed, he was all over her.
Mm-hmm.
She was annoyed.
Ugh.
Annoyed and he's like, you're all I've thought about for the last 2 weeks.
And that annoys her. See, the funny thing about that is that things change after you get married. Like without a doubt, if you would say that to your wife before you were married, there's a great chance it turns out differently.
Mm-hmm.
Without a doubt. But then once you're married and you have kids,
yeah,
you're a burden in that situation.
Yeah. How dare you think about me that way? So I think the original guys were kind of defending him. And then these people were very much not. I don't know what he did in his hotel room, but I want to assume that he made it through unscathed.
You were assuming that?
Well, I was thinking if the guy made it 2 weeks in a hotel room without making mistakes, yeah,
HBO.
he should have. I mean, like the guy deserves like a
Medal of Honor.
Yeah. Heroes welcome.
Yeah.
And but what I thought was so interesting is the wife side of this podcast was just so alarmed by the fact that when he's out searching for work, that he's distracted by his desire to have sex with her. Like she was really alarmed by that.
Yeah. Oh gosh, this just shows the difference between men and women.
But her husband, who, according to their own, I'm not making this up, had a very bad addiction to porn and stuff in the past.
That doesn't have anything to do with that.
But he was similarly like unimpressed with this guy, and yeah.
You got to stand up for your fellow brother there.
No, this guy throws guys under the bus all the time. And
that is disappointing. He should be ashamed of himself.
Yeah.
I'm sorry if this is gonna think your chances of getting on that podcast, but
yeah.
I mean, if he doesn't understand that, because I know exactly how that feels.
I mean, in my first thought was, so she was upset that he was, let's say, theoretically, like, I don't want to say sabotaging, but being less than effective at his job interviews when that should have been his focus, because he's thinking about getting home to his wife. And I'm thinking, yeah, by about day 10, I would have been a real crabby person going into these job interviews, and I would not have gotten the jobs. And
but the thing is that he's doing it for his family.
Yeah.
So you think about him. Like,
yeah,
I think that when you think about your wife and your kids, like it helps you at your job. Like that's why people have photos of their family on their desk, so they can see what motivates them.
right.
And
but it was the fact that he was thinking specifically about
sex but
with
like
her.
Yeah, so he wants to be close to her or whatever. Yeah. Like, I mean, for goodness sakes, that's actually really disappointing that was their answer.
Yeah. So I was like, I've got to say something here.
Yeah.
So I went on, and first of all, I went and I looked, and there was about 32 likes on this
on the episode or
the episode post, like they posted on their
Okay.
Instagram page.
But it wasn't just about this guy, or was it?
No, but I think the question was, well, it was quotes from the episode. And like 32 likes and like 30 women and 2 guys, from what I could tell from the profiles. Like
2 guys are probably pretty bitter guys.
Yeah. Single guys, zero comments. Like, guys never go on and comments. Like, screw that, I'm gonna go on a comment. And I was pretty nice.
Yeah, you shared it with me. It's nice.
And I just said, being a husband and father is really, really hard, and the desires of the flesh never give up. And I said, it just feels like guys are being unfairly maligned for being guys. And like I said, there was no indication, although I was thinking, I know what that guy was doing in the hotel room, but I don't think they think that way. But but I was thinking, this guy is getting reamed for feeling that way. And if he managed to do that without violating 3252, 2352 or whatever, I was like, I have nothing but sympathy for that guy.
Yeah, I mean,
And so
the thing is that I totally go back to the point that, like, if he had said that before they were married, it's a totally different reaction. And I don't know why that changes.
Yeah.
But that's
you gotta go check out the happy wife school or whatever to
yeah,
figure
she
that
talks about why that changes.
Yeah.
That's true.
So anyway, so he invited me in. So he said, "Well, send me a DM." He didn't want to like comment on it, and I kind of laid it out, and and he didn't really respond, but he appreciated. He's like, "Well, let me think about this." Like, the husband was responding, but it just maddened. It makes me mad because those people are very influential. Like, they're speaking around the country.
Oh. Yeah, you're gonna put down a guy for desiring his wife, and possibly not giving into like HBO or whatever else could be there. Like
this
and that's where it doesn't really have to do with desire for just that act. It's about desiring your wife and the intimacy and the unity. And the connection. I think in that situation, and so that is unfair to say something bad about him in that situation.
Well, in what I see happening is they're not happy. They're not satisfied if the guy can just keep from doing solo and stuff, right? Like, that's not good enough. Like, from my standpoint, I'm just trying to get guys to that point or real close to it.
If you can just about do it, you're okay.
Yeah, it's whether you have all the purest of intentions beyond that, quite frankly, I don't care. But they do. They do, and they're like, well, if you're the reason why you're asking, like, this guy claims, I don't necessarily believe him, but he's like, if I have a desire to have sex with my wife and I can tell that it's being brought by my carnal desires and not my desire for her as a person, I say no to myself.
I don't even know what to say to that. Hopefully we can interview this guy, because I want to know how he separates that out. And then how does he say no, and like why? Like, because I don't think you really, I don't know. I'm confused by all that.
These people are, I don't know.
Like, that seems like a whole different level of like scrupulosity.
Well,
like, does he go to confession and say, well, I desired my wife carnally and I gave in?
Yeah.
That's right. I don't think that.
If it is, I'm in trouble. Sorry, Craig and Jonah, you guys managed to be masters of your domain, but your minds was not well controlled, and here's 30 million years in purgatory for you.
Nobody can make it out of those kind of traps.
I just told him, I said, look, my experience is that 99% of guys are much closer to the guy 2 weeks in the hotel than this guy who apparently has some Zen-like mastery over this stuff. I just think if that's the standard, like, maybe I know I'm not being too casual or whatever for those guys. Like I really can't believe that the Lord is going to take offense if you as a guy can be perfectly compliant with all the rules when it comes to your hand and other parts of your body, but your mindset is disordered. Holy cow, that's a whole new level of I mean, we have taken that 4% of Catholics that are using NFP, and we got this little tiny sliver.
That guy's commentary there kind of reminds me of the leader of North Korea, where like he's hit like 1,000 hole in ones in a row. You know, he doesn't sleep, he never goes to the bathroom, that sort of thing. You know,
Yeah.
like that's almost, and maybe he's a walking saint. I don't know, but that seems to be like an impossible.
I'd like to know how we got there.
Yeah,
So maybe we'll get him on this show and he can walk us through it. But
that'd be great if we could just
yeah,
get him. Maybe I don't know.
yeah,
You know,
we'll
not
see.
you know, because I
I'm
would think
massaging that
I
relationship.
would think there's a lot of pressure that if you do a podcast with your wife and you say that you're perfect, to maintain that level of perfection is
Yeah.
probably quite difficult.
Yeah. Yeah. That reminds me of another story that I have I'm going to share with you on our next episode.
All right. Wow.
So-
Lots of buildup.
Oh yeah, there's been a lot of stuff going on.
A lot of pent up things building up here.
Yeah. So stay tuned to the next episode. So anyway, well, I'm off the rocks for right now, but we'll see. I see a storm brewing on the horizon. So wish me luck, everyone.
Yeah. Good luck to you.
Thanks, Jonah. Thanks for listening, everyone. And until next time, everyone.
Bye.
Have a good one.